Yo, I don't know what your problem is, but I'm talking here, alright? Absolutely.
Hello, everyone. Steve Rizzo here, and welcome to Hey, I'm Talking Here. I'm Talking Here. This is a show about empowerment. It's a show that will not only take you to a better place personally, but professionally. And this show is brought to you by the Bob Project and Conversations with Bob. Conversations with Bob is my new book that's coming out soon. And if you want to know who Bob is and what the Bob Project is all about, well, you're going to have to read the book to find out. Bob, by the way, is God. And if you want to know how God got the name Bob, again, you'll have to find out in the book. I will tell you this, though. Bob has all the answers to every question you have. Bob has all the solutions to all of your problems. All you have to do is to learn how to be still, get out of your way, and listen to what Bob has to say. And having said that, and by the way, Bob is the one that's always telling you that you are way more powerful than you can possibly imagine. And that's the truth. And now I'm going to introduce you right now, my crew, my team, my main people with whom I could not be doing this without. And let's bring out Bruce, my director, my producer, my tech guy. How you doing, Bruce?
Good. I think we've got this down. It's like 3 shows in, and so far, 2 minutes into the show, no errors.
No errors so far. That's pretty cool. How was your Thanksgiving? That's really cool. How was your Thanksgiving?
Fun. All I had to do was bring the rolls and show up at someone else's house.
Yeah, there you go. You had a good Thanksgiving, though?
Yeah, it was nice. Watched a bit of things called football. They did football that day. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, that's what Thanksgiving's all about.
Yep.
Yeah, see, in my family, you know, if they're saying dinner's ready, we're saying, no, the game isn't over yet. So dinner isn't ready. Put it on hold.
Yeah, it was like a minute and a half left of the Bears game. And it's like, okay, we'll be there in a minute and a half. Football time.
Yeah. I saw that game, actually.
Yeah, so my cousin brought his phone with him to the table. And then we run around the table asking each other what you're thankful for. And it took like 5-10 minutes to get to him. And the first thing he says, I'm thankful that the Bears won.
That's the way to do it, man. That's a pro football fan. That's what I say. Kellen Ann, let's bring you on. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Doing wonderful. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was fabulous. My daughter came home from college, and it's just me and my mom and her. And we were driving my mom crazy. So she gave us each $100 and told us to drive to Buc-ee's. So we went to Buc-ee's.
Oh, way cool. Yeah, way cool. I had a good Thanksgiving. It wasn't as crowded as usual. And I think that's why it was so good, because, I hate people. And no, I was at my older brother Michael's house, and it was his wife and his 2 kids, my godchild Tracy and his son Frankie, and their Frankie's 2 children. We had a great time watching the game, laughing. Yeah, it was very special for me, and that's what's so good, because it segues perfectly with our title, Giving and Acts of Kindness, because I was so grateful to be there, because as a lot of people know, and Kellen, and my brother is 100% disabled from the Vietnam War, and he had some major issues this past month. He had a procedure done on his kidneys, and he was supposed to be in the hospital just 1 day, and it wound up to be 2 weeks, and it was touch and go for a while. But the guy's attitude is insane, over the top. So I was totally grateful to spending a lot of time with him, and we really just had a great time. And I think this is a great segue to introduce the Rizzo memo.
Love it.
I think
I'm
so.
ready.
The Rizzo memo portion of the show.
The Rizzo memo.
I love that song. We should let that song go next time, just a little longer, so I can get into the groove. This just in, hot off the press. I hope you believe that. Last holiday season, I was at my favorite breakfast table at my local Panera Bread restaurant when an elderly couple walked in. They both had gray hair, and I would say they were about maybe in their mid 80s. But the thing that attracted my attention to them is that he opened up the door for her, and immediately, as soon as she walked in, he went right next to her and he grabbed her hand. And they were really holding each other's hand in a most unique way. And as they're waiting in line, she says something funny to him. He starts laughing. He says something funny back, and she starts laughing. And then he reached over and he grabbed her around her shoulders and pushed her into him and gave her the biggest hug. And this whole act of affection that they were giving to one another, it touched my heart in the most profound way. So I spoke to the manager and I told her that I wanted to secretly pay for the couple's breakfast. Just tell them someone anonymous was in a low mood today, and watching them being so affectionate to one another actually lifted my spirits. So when the manager told them the news, I pretended to be engrossed in my writing on my laptop. And from the corner of my eye, I could see the couple looking around, trying to figure out who this mysterious person was who paid for their meal. And in truth, though, it wasn't so much that what I did for them. It's what they did for me. You know, I had an incredible uplifting feeling to do this. And it was like I was honoring them for the joy that they gave me. They really did take me out of a low mood. And my point here, folks, and I think this is really important, is that giving not only benefits the receiver, but also the giver. It's an activity that I believe really makes us realize somehow, some way that we're all connected. And that connection plays a big part in making the world a better place to live. I know that I always feel better, happier. My spirits get uplifted when I'm doing something nice for someone. And I know a lot of you agree with this, and some of you make a point to do this often in your life. And it gives us a sense of hope in a world where, especially in the past 2 years, things seem to be without hope, hopeless. So I'm going to be bold here, and I'm going to challenge each and every one of you to take this holiday spirit of giving, not only through the holidays, but through your entire life. I'm serious, throughout your entire life. And just try it. Just try it and know how much better you feel. For example, when you're walking through town and you see a parking summons on someone's windshield, go up to that car, rip that sucker up and throw it away. Why should that person have to pay for that? And you'll feel so much better for doing that. And remember this, though. Remember this. What you give from your heart, especially if you do it often, comes back to you in one way or another. It's really the law of attraction in motion. So if you want more joy and abundance in your life, make the activity of giving a habit, not just during the holiday season, but through your entire life. Trust me, try this. And by the way, I would really like your comments here. You have any questions, just type them in. We'll see it. We'll go over it. And maybe you have an act of kindness that you gave that you would like to post. It's up to you. It's your choice. Do it. And right now, I'd like to bring Kellen Ann back in on the screen.
Hello.
What do you think? What?
That reminded me of one of my favorite, we call it pay it forwards or acts of kindness. Yeah. I was driving home I lived in the Bay Area, and I was driving to the foothills, Grass Valley, to see my daughter. And there was a $5 toll. And I remember this is where I had a fast track. I pulled in and I said, I want to pay for the guy behind me too. And they're like, oh, okay. So I did that. And I felt good, and I'm driving. All of a sudden, this guy, he comes roaring up to me and he's like, thank you. It was so fun. And I'm like, that made me feel so good. I was like, oh God.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying. So it's like, it made me feel way better than I think it made him feel, And I think maybe, you never know. Maybe they didn't have $5 for the toll. Maybe they just got laid off. Maybe something bad, something bad just happened. And it just made me feel so good. I just wanted to.
That's cool. That's cool. It's funny you should say that, because right now my friend John, will you buy me a meatball? He's one of the guys, I go to my favorite Italian restaurant. I stop work at 4:30 and I go right over to my Italian restaurant. And I have friends there, dear friends, and he's my closest friend there. And we sit next to each other. And I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful for that place, because that's where I unwind. And everyone sits down and we laugh and we have a great time. And it doesn't take much. People, you don't have to buy somebody a meal to make them feel good. There are a lot of things here. I mean, I got a list of things right here. I mean,
Hold the door
yeah,
for somebody.
tell someone what a nice smile they have, or how good they look. Give a salesperson, customer service agent, or a coworker a compliment for a job well done. Write a letter or make a phone call to someone that you haven't seen in a while and tell them how much you miss them. You know, there's so many things. Tell your child or any child that you know, give them a hug and tell them how much you appreciate them. The world is filled with it. You know, another thing is when you're in line at a supermarket and you only have a couple of items, you know, just, you know, if you see someone in the back of you that has fewer items, ask them if they want to get ahead of you. Put the
I do
shopping
that.
cart back
Yeah,
where it's supposed to be.
sometimes it's a fight. No, it's okay. No, go ahead, because I have like 5 million things. No, it's okay. And like one time I almost got in a fight because they wouldn't go.
Yeah.
It's like,
So it backfired?
yeah, backfired. Only that one time though.
Yeah,
Other than that, it's I don't know. I'm a strong believer that you do it for yourself more than you do it for the person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and I really say this, when the more you do it, the more it becomes a part of who you are. And what the act of giving and acts of kindness gives you is that great bounce back factor. Let's face it, we all get in low moods. I do.
Yeah.
And there are strategies that we could use. And as you know, I call them common sense success strategies that can help us cope with the crap. I love you too, John.
You think John will eventually love me?
I doubt it, but okay. Who doesn't love you? Give me a break. Hi, Steve and Kellen. So great to see you. Goal, random act of kindness every day during December to develop a habit of doing it. Good. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that. I so much appreciate that. That is cool. But what my point is, that what I was saying is that the more you do it, the more it becomes a part of who you are. And I just look for opportunities every day, especially if I'm in a low mood. And I know as soon as I do it, my spirits get lifted. One time I was at Dallas Fort Worth Airport. Okay. And it was 1992. This is when the Gulf War was taking place. And, you know, that war was shown on TV. And I was at the gate at the Dallas Fort Worth, and these 3 Marines were waiting to board. They were going to New York. And I found out they were going to New York for 2 weeks for a vacation. And after that, on leave, they were going to be shipped to Iraq. So the flight attendant comes over, and she went up to the 3 Marines and said, I tried so hard to get you 3 a seat in first class, but all the seats are taken. I'm so sorry I couldn't do it. And they said, oh, ma'am, please don't worry about it. We didn't even expect it, but thank you for even thinking of us. So when I heard that, I knew I was going to give up my first class seat to somebody. And I had to get 2 more volunteers. So I got a man and a woman to volunteer to give their first class seats up. Kellen, you should have seen the look on these Marines' faces when we told them that we were giving up our first class seats for them. But more powerful than that, and this stands with me till this day and probably till the day I leave, you should have seen the look on our faces. We got off the plane, and all 3 Marines were standing at attention saluting us.
I love this story.
Oh my God, that just brought tears to my eyes. Anyway, had I known that I was going to sit in the middle seat and coach, never would have done it. Never would have done it. I would have told them, hey guys, I know you're going to Iraq, but look where I'm sitting. I'm sitting next to somebody that smells like sauerkraut. Okay.
Or the lady that, like, she spits when she talks to you. You know, yeah. I've sat next to her. You know, before we bring on our guest, who is flippin' amazing.
Yes.
You know, I started 7 years ago, Gratitude Mondays. And that's where I handwrite a note to somebody that I appreciate. And so this is just showing that you don't have to spend money or buy something. I just simply write a note saying, hey, you know what? You impacted my life this way. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And 9 times out of 10, they either send me an email or they call me. And that's so fun to hear. Like, I hear from my old trigonometry teacher and things like, you know. Wow. I just wanted to share that because that's the essence of what we're talking about today.
And it's a simple act of kindness. It really is. Oh my God, this is my brother. Michael always liked you best, which is why this is my younger brother, Ricky. Michael always liked you best, which is why I was not invited to Thanksgiving. Some act of kindness, bastards.
Oh my God, that's funny.
You know what? Everyone says that I'm the funny one in the family. Actually, my brother Rocky, he's funnier than all of us. He is one of the funniest guys. I always let people into traffic or merge. It's just the right thing to do.
It
Yeah,
is.
Barry,
It's
cool.
awesome. Thanks,
And you
Barry.
know what? When you do that, you see that little wave from them, you feel it lifts you up. It's got to. It's better than getting the finger,
Yeah,
when
that's
you
what they
know
do to me.
that. Yeah, absolutely. Kathy Fiorenza. Hi, Kath. How are you?
Hi,
There's a dear friend I've known since I was in high school.
You should write her a letter.
Don't push it. All right.
Okay, we need to bring on our guest. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's bring on our guest. I'm going to let you introduce him.
I know. Thank you.
And this fits, folks. This fits perfect with today's message, act of
does.
kindness, because what you're going to hear is really, really cool. And I love Eric anyway. So.
Oh my God, I love him. I love him more. I love him.
Okay. More. All right.
So Eric is someone who I met during the pandemic, and you met, through the pandemic, Steve. We joined this mastermind group called Megaminds, and every year we do something, or not every year, 1 year we did this, and now we're making it a tradition. Eric is an amazing person. He's an amazing social media person. I mean, he does everything right. Yep. He is vice president of Perfect Crust Pizza Liners, and just my favorite guy in the world. Sorry, Steve. Eric Bam Burns.
I'm blushing. I don't even know what to say right now. So
I feel like we have a star on our show.
Whatever. Thank you. I'm just excited to be here with Steve. I was telling him before the show started, everyone should go and download his book, Get Your Shift Together. It is one of my 3 favorite books. I listen to an audiobook every day, and it's one of my 3 favorite books from the last couple of years. And so everyone should go download it right now. It's amazing. So
I appreciate you saying that. Wow. Thank you, Eric. Okay, we can get him off the show now.
I'm out. I think, Kellen kind of talked about doing, we were talking about gratitude and giving, and I'm on to maybe talk about mega coats and kind of how that started. It was kind of interesting. It was a couple of weeks earlier. Michelle, Vincent, and I had a conversation, and our whole group had a conversation about listening to your gut. And I think a lot of times when we listen to our gut, we look at that, we think of that as a negative. But I think your gut, for me, my gut is God talking to me, good or bad. And I think it's a muscle that we have to learn to be better at. And it's a muscle that you have to listen to in order to understand why is this being put in my mind? Why is this in my mind? Why is it on my heart? And so we'd had that conversation for probably 2 weeks. And then on a Sunday afternoon, 2:00, Michelle sends me a text. Can you talk? And I said, yeah, sure. And so I called her. So what's up? She said, all right, I had one of those moments. I was at church, and it was last year, probably a week earlier than this. And she said, I was at church, and she said, Megamind, we've got 20 people from across the country. And she said, I listened to my gut, and God told me we need to collect coats and give them out to people that need them. And so literally we talked for 20 minutes, and we came up with the idea. We had 23 people. So 23 people collect 23 coats by December 23rd and donate them to a charity. And when you have a group of high goal-minded people, it was more than 23. I think the group I think overall we raised, I think we collected almost 1,200 coats. And
really?
Yeah. It was crazy.
It was huge, Steve. And I'll tell you,
wow.
You talked about the way you feel. I love to go to McDonald's. You don't do this at McDonald's at lunch or dinner because it's too expensive. Never, right? But McDonald's in the morning for breakfast, it's $5. Yeah. Right? I mean, come on, it's $5. Right. So I love buying for the person behind me because you'll get the wave. I had one time a lady posted in this local town that I'm in. She posted a comment in this town that someone saw and tagged me in it. She said she had just gotten her husband out of the hospital, and they were driving home, and he was hungry, and she was just overwhelmed. Now, I specifically remember one guy who didn't do anything, and I was like, screw you, because, you can't even give me the hand wave or something.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
But anyway, the mega coach thing, I think, Steve, you had mentioned, the feeling you get from giving. And I'll tell you, I walked into Mercy Mission in Glenpool, Oklahoma last year, and I had 130 coats in my car. Right. So I walk in with 4 coats, right? I walk in, I got like 4 coats, and you know, and by the way, I'm already at 47 right now. But I walk in with 4 coats and I say, hey, I've got some coats I'd like to donate. And she was like, oh, thank you. That's cute, thank you. You know, and so she takes them. I said, oh, I've got a couple more. So I go back out and come in with like 4 or 5 more. And she's like, oh wow, cool. Oh, thank you. I said, oh, I've got more. And she goes, how many coats do you have? I said, oh, I've got about 140. And she just like lost her mind. And they literally had run out of coats the day before. They specifically needed men's coats, which was the majority of what I had. And I'll tell you, now I get choked up just thinking about it, because I left and they were just so overwhelmed with what had happened. But I drove away, and dude, I got the blessing from it. I sat in the parking lot and just had tears in my eyes. I got the blessing from it.
Yep.
And that for me is, you know, if you give with a selfless heart, expecting nothing in return, I've always felt like God blesses that back 10 times over.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
you know, I think, you know, what is it? Jeremiah 29:13. I think it's that talks about how God has a plan for your life and how he's going to bless you and how he's going to prosper you, right? If you will let God prosper you, but in turn give back to just give,
Yep.
God blesses you over and over and over.
For the sake of giving. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
We're so
go ahead.
selfish as a society in some ways, and it's crazy. We go from having a day of thanks to having a day of let me go buy shit for myself and my family, and it's such a weird dynamic. I'm glad Black Friday's kind of not what it was even 5 years ago. But you had mentioned at the top of the show talking about I wish people took that attitude. And I feel the same way. I posted it on Facebook last week. I wish we took Thanksgiving, we applied that to our life every single day, because if we're thankful for what we have, truly thankful, and God blesses it just over and over and over.
Exactly. But I think what happens, Eric, is that a lot of people just get caught up.
Yeah.
And they're not aware that when you get caught up, you're usually in a low mood. Most people start their days off in low moods at best. And the scary thing is they're not aware of what's even happening to them. But there are these common sense success strategies that I offer people where you could just bounce back instantly. And one of them is the act of giving.
Yep.
An act of kindness. And I know sometimes when you're in a low mood, it's hard to find that part of you, but you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. And when you do, you got to say to yourself, wow, I feel so much better. Yep. What I just did for that person, the coffee that I bought for that person, or I let the person go by in traffic, or I gave somebody a compliment, or I let somebody that works for me, you know, you're doing such a great job. I don't know what I'd do without you. And to see their reaction, you just sent a message to your subconscious that runs 97% of your life like, hey, this is going to be a good day. You're starting your day off now in a better mood than you were before. The more you become aware of it and acknowledge it, the more it becomes a part of who you are, and the easier it is to get back into the rat race again.
Yep. And, I tell you, one of the simple things that I do every day. Look at that. Isn't that great? That's awesome. That's great.
I love these photos. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I do every day, I've said it to some people get it, some people don't. But, you know, one of the first things I do in the morning is we all do it. We get on our phone. Right. And so if you look at my Facebook page, everyone's welcome to send me a friend request. Almost everything's public anyway. Yep. But you can scroll through, and almost every single day I'm posting something. And I wake up, I'm a very optimistic person. I wake up in a great mood 9 times out of 10. Right. But the one day that I don't, most of the time when I'm searching for something, I'll get on just Google up great quotes or great Bible quotes or quotes about work, and watch everything that comes up, and you'll find something that reacts here and reacts here that I post every day. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, I wake up in a great mood, but sometimes that 1 out of those 10 days is purely me looking for something to help me get motivated for the day.
Yep.
So,
and what I like about your group, the Megamind Group, which is how this sparked, and I want everyone to get this, you have a wonderful group of people, and you talk about things and how one idea can just be a spark that ignites something tremendous.
Yeah.
To what? You said 1,200 coats?
Yeah.
And I want people to get that. So if one group can do that, and if you belong to any kind of a group, even if it's just a group of people that you work with, it doesn't have to be a group that you share ideas with. It could just be anywhere you work. Get together with some of the people and say, hey, what can we do to make the world a better place? What can we do to make our community a better place? And see what you can come up with.
Yeah, and you don't even have to be part of a group. Just go on your own on Facebook and say, "Hey, I'm collecting coats for a local charity." Figure out who it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? The reality is like this page that Bruce has posted. I mean, I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If somebody from Seattle, Washington said, "Hey, I've got a coat for you," well, it's not, donate it to someone locally. But for me, it's all about my friends and my network, and we all have a sphere of influence, and it's about reaching out to my friends. Say, "Come on, Steve, I know you got one freaking coat. Come on. You're buying freaking meatballs, but you can't buy a coat. Come on, man."
Right.
So it's really about talking to your friends and your family and your sphere of influence and just getting some coats or whatever it is. Could be something else.
Well, they can also, like, seeing this show and they think, "Oh, I want to do coats." They could donate some coats, take a picture, send it to one of us. We'll blast it out on Mega Coats, because you don't have to be in Georgia. Well, I'm in Ohio now, or Oklahoma or New York. You can do it anywhere.
And you don't do it to get something back. The act of giving and kindness is the reward itself. It actually catapults you into a positive, more optimistic state of mind. And which, by the way, this is a great segue for the word according to Bob clip. It's about positivism. And from there, Garrick, I'd like you to stay on if you don't mind.
Sure, love to.
And then after it, we'll discuss, a positive attitude and how the act of giving can, instill that in your life.
I love the comments from John, by the way. John's like, he wants a blackened chicken salad from Mr. Rizzo. I love all those comments. They're funny. Keep them coming, John.
Does blackened mean burnt, like fire?
Kind of. John, does he buy you an iced tea?
You know why he said that? You know why he said that?
That's your order?
I'm health conscious. Yes, it's an Italian restaurant, but I usually have blackened chicken with some kind of a Caesar salad or a chopped salad or something. I'm very health conscious. So they make fun of me at the bar. Even when I pour wine, the bartender knows he can only pour this much of my glass at a time, so I could acknowledge how much I'm drinking. So
I have my wine poured that far from the top of the glass. That's
I just drink out of the bottle.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a good group. So let's.
Go ahead.
What? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Callum. Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about blackened. Like,
I love blackened chicken.
That's not allowed in my kitchen.
Giving coats kept a smile on my face for months.
Barry's part of our group, and Barry gave a ton of got a ton of coats as well. So it was just the whole group it was tremendous.
Yeah, that is so cool. So let's watch the next episode that's coming up with the word according to Bob. You know as well as I do that life can be really tough sometimes. And I know that sometimes it just isn't justification for all of the unfortunate things that happen to us. But I also know that we all have what it takes to deal with misfortune when it occurs. And this is what acquiring a positive attitude is really all about. It's about fortifying yourself for a fight with a very real and very dangerous enemy, your own negativity. I think the word positive frustrates a lot of people. I mean, because I hear people say all the time, "Well, how do you expect me to be positive, Steve, when nothing in my life is working?" Or, "It's easy for you to be positive. You didn't lose your job." Well, maybe we should consider a more realistic interpretation of what it means to be positive. Because I'll tell you, I've learned a long time ago that being positive isn't always about feeling good. In fact, I think it's healthy to feel bad sometimes. Think about it. I mean, it's a good thing. That means that you're human. You're not a robot. Are you following me? And being positive doesn't mean that we never make mistakes. True positivism is knowing that we learn from making our mistakes, and as a result of learning from our mistakes, we move forward knowing that we're better people. Why? Because we become empowered, wiser, and more resilient than before. Being positive doesn't mean that you should always smile and enjoy every single moment of your life. Give me a break. As a matter of fact, give yourself a break. It's knowing that sometimes it's okay to cry, to mourn, to feel sad, every now and then get into a bad mood. And you don't always have to be in control of your emotions. Sometimes it's okay to get angry, get pissed off, lose your temper, yell at someone, throw something. Don't worry. Your positivity license will not be revoked. Positive people instinctively know that adversity happens to everyone and that it's necessary in order for them to grow. And I believe that's why we're here on this planet. And I want you to get this. We are here on earth to experience, learn, grow, and become the person we're meant to become. And it can't be stressed enough that the filter through which you view your life experiences will ultimately determine who you become. In other words, how you choose to experience all of the things that happen to you, be it good or bad, right or wrong, fair or unfair, will determine what you learn. And that continued learning determines how you grow. And this continued growth, well, that shapes who and what you become. Your job, your responsibility every single step along the way is to become the very best person you can be in any given circumstance. And that's the word, according to Bob. Ta-da!
Love it.
I love that.
I went to steverizzo.com and looked up the merch. Apparently that smoking jacket is sold out. So it's gone.
I don't know what I woke up. Well, Bob told me to do that. I woke up in the middle of the night, as I often do, and that's when I wrote the book. So many of the insights from the book, and it took me 8 years to write it. The conversations with Bob, and every time I thought it was finished, Bob kept telling me, "No, it's not, because you got to experience more stuff." And thanks, Johnny. And something happened. I woke up and I said, "Wow!" And I actually saw myself sitting in front of this giant library, which I had, and wearing a smoking jacket. So I did like 15 episodes of these.
Love it.
And every message comes from the book somehow, some way.
I was going to say, so that message is somewhat in the book, which I mentioned, which everyone needs to go download today.
Well, I appreciate, yeah, absolutely. But at the end, it says, it just says that, we all can do this for ourselves, to be positive. And one of the ways to do it, and it's really an ultimate bounce back factor, is to allow yourself, and I know when you're in a bad mood, it's hard to do this, but that doesn't mean it can't be done. Do an act of kindness for someone. It's hard to put on the brakes and do that. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
But what my point is, and I'll say it again, I know this sounds repetitious, but I'm going to say it again. The more you do it, the more it becomes a habit, a part of who you are. Your subconscious is going, you remember the last time you did that? You felt pretty good. Why don't you try something else? Do something. Get on your phone and call someone and tell them that you missed them. Get on the phone and tell someone you're sorry that you were neglecting them, or whatever it is, whatever it may be. Just the other day at my gym, I go to a gym near my house here, and there was a new guy there. And he, I tried to have conversations with him a few times, a few other people have, but I realized, okay, he doesn't want to talk that much. He left his phone, his iPhone. This was about a week and a half ago. Maybe it was 2 months ago. It was 5 years ago. And
it was recently.
I don't think it never happened. No, it was about a week and a half ago. Anyway, he left his phone on a treadmill. So I could have just given it to the front desk and said, I know he's going to come back for it. But I didn't. I ran outside, and it was pretty cold. And I ran out of the parking lot into the road, onto the sidewalk, and waited until we got to a stop sign. And I'm waving to him like this, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at his phone, and he realized he pulled over. Eric, he couldn't believe I did that.
Right.
He couldn't believe I did
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I don't know why. I did it. So, but now, the next few days in the gym, he's talking to everyone. We're all communicating, and we're having, it's one of those things. And it just made me feel really good. The look on his face lifted my spirits immediately. And
I was going to say, well, regarding, Bob and what Bob just said, it's easy to be positive when things are good, right? That's when it's easy. Oh yeah. And I'll tell you that I had lunch with my 24-year-old son last week, and we talked about like one of the hardest things I think in life to figure out is like everyone's worried about themselves, and we worry about what everyone thinks about us, but the reality is they ain't thinking about us; they're worried about themselves. And so to get comfortable in that, number one, and then number two, when things aren't going good, you get older and you realize like, you know what, I screwed up. But that's how you learn. That's how you become a better person. That's how you become a better father, a better spouse, a better, Christian, or better, whatever it is. That's how you get better. And that's how you learn. And we have so much fear of failure because we think that failure is going to be such a negative in our life and it's going to be awful and we're going to hate it. but you learn from it. That's how you grow.
Mhm.
That's how you become a better person. And I don't want to say I run to failure, but if I screw up, I own that shit now. Like before, I'd be like, oh, I didn't do that. But you own it now. Like you have to own it. Just own it and get better from it.
I'm at that's so well said, Eric. I'm at the point now in my life where my life is going full circle, and the circle's pretty much complete. And what I learn now more than anything, the greatest blessing is my greatest challenges have become my greatest blessings.
Yeah.
I mean, because I learned from them. And I realize now, and for you people that are listening, you don't know why something is happening to you now. But years from now, when you look back, you go, oh my God, that happened because if that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened.
Right.
And I wouldn't have met this person, and I wouldn't have had this opportunity. Or from that one thing that I was cursing and saying, why did this happen to me? I'm realizing, whoa, look where I am now. Look what I have now. And I'm not talking about money. I'm
Right.
talking about what I have as far as empowerment goes. You know, that inner confidence that you have that I'm going to do this, and there's no such thing as failure. There's only learning. That's all there is.
And that segues right into a podcast I was listening to on my way here to Ohio. You know, Pat's Creativity and Captivity. He had a guest, Kay Bess, and she phrased it perfectly. She reframes her failures. She's reframing her failures.
Love it.
And that's exactly what you guys were talking about.
Oh, I love that. Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce, put that one comment that was just on about Bob there.
Oh, Ray.
Bob's got some great wisdom.
Ray's a Megaminder, baby.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Yeah. Bob,
So-
thanks, Ray. I appreciate that. Wes Wyatt.
Happy birthday, Wes Wyatt. I called Wes yesterday and sang him a song on his voicemail, and I didn't get any response that he loved it. He just said, hey, thanks for your voicemail. I'm like, really, jerk? Thanks. Have a great day.
Wow. Ouch.
I sang and everything. I didn't get like a dude, that was awesome. I just got, whatever. I had a great day. Screw you.
Oh, that's funny. That's pretty cool.
It's cold, man. He's a stone cold killer, man. I'm just like, really?
Ooh.
Well, yeah, we're going to get it from him, and I don't think it's going to be an act of kindness. But, but hey, listen, man, you guys, thank you so much for being on the show. And Eric, I know we got a hold of you the last second.
Can I throw one more thing in here before you fire
throw
me
a
out
few
of
more
here?
things.
I want to say this because it's been on my mind a lot lately. I think everything we're talking about right now about gratitude and having a great positive attitude and giving, I feel like the world is not as bad as our phone tells us it is. I just don't think it's as bad as our phone tells us it is. And so stop looking at the news a little bit, get off Twitter a little bit, and look around. And like Steve said, do something nice for somebody. And you know what? When you do something nice for somebody, watch the birds start chirping and watch the sun come out a little bit more. Because I'm just telling you, the country we live in, the odds of you being born, your soul being born into your body in this country right now are like 1 in like 5.4 billion. And we are so freaking blessed. And we want to bitch and complain about stuff when the reality is, man, we got it good. Look around. It is not as bad as our phone tells us it is.
Wow. You know what? That is so well said. I think the thing is, though, we've gotten so caught up, and most people start their days. I always said that the mood you're in for the entire day is 9 out of 10 times the mood you wake up in.
Yep.
And most people start their moods today in low moods at best. And you know what? They're not even aware of what's happening to them because it's become commonplace. It's become a part of their personality, because as soon as they wake up, the first thing they focus on is the grueling day they had the day before, or the fires that weren't put out, all the irate people that they had to deal with, putting on the mask, taking off the mask, adjusting the mask, all these things. And they can't understand why they're going through this day and life isn't working for them.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that you feeling good is your job and your responsibility. Feeling good is the fuel that drives motivation and inspiration. And that's your choice and your responsibility. And if you're not feeling right, and whatever it is you're trying to achieve, you're going to have a tough time achieving it.
Well, but the flip side of that is feeling bad or feeling negative causes self-sabotage and paralyzes people to sit on their couch and not do anything. And so, you have a choice when you get up every day. It's mindset, and people have just got to activate it, whether it's music or downloading something. I would listen to Steve's book, third plug of the day. But I find something that motivates you, something that you look at and go, that made me smile. I remember that, and go to that first thing in the morning to get you going. And because you know what, you're right. It's our choice to get up every day and let things either from yesterday hold us back. I tend to look at a lot of times when people want to be thought leaders or people want to overthink stuff, and all that does is paralyze people to not do anything. And so we need to have thought, but we need to take action on those thoughts, and go do stuff. My dad was an awful person, right? But the one thing I said to somebody yesterday, I remember my dad always saying, I said to you, Kellen, was my dad always said, you need to get out and blow the stink off.
Yeah.
Right. And that's sometimes life about some of the stinking thinking we have going on.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that is so well said, Eric. I got to tell you, that's exactly what this show is about. It's about empowerment. Yep. It's about, common sense success strategies that we all have that are innate in us. And if we just learn to tap into these parts of us that are working rather than fixating what isn't working, life becomes easier.
Yeah.
Barry, I like this. There is an abundance of love, kindness, and great things happening everywhere and every day. You're right. But people are so fixated on focusing on what isn't working rather than blessing the things that life isn't right. John, I hate you right
this
now.
Guy.
I wake up and think about what type of chicken Rizzo is going to eat.
I'm sending John a Facebook friend request. He's my new
Me too.
Marion, I love you. It's a choice. It is, sweetheart.
To get a positive feeling.
Thank you for your comments, folks. Thank you for your comment. Eric, you're a perfect guest for this show. I love you. I'd love to have you back again a few times, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, well, I'd love to come back. I mean, only if I can get an autographed edition of your book. So.
Oh, so you have to ask for something in return, right?
Well, I thought you'd give selflessly. I thought you
I'm
still waiting for my book.
As a matter of fact, when the new book comes out, Conversations with Bob, when it comes out, I will. Should I go that far?
No, don't go there. Just stop.
You would flip out if I flew to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and gave you
No, I wouldn't flip out. I expect it now.
No, I would flip out.
I have very high. I expect it. I have this wristband that says I'm just getting started, right? And I'm just getting started with you, Steve. We're gonna do the show together like once a month or something. So
I've done things like that. All right. This was a good show. I feel
you got to talk about your Rizzogram.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
folks, please. Sign up for my bi-weekly Rizzogram. It's steverizzo.com/subscribe. And every other week you will get a video or an article or something reinforcing my message. Bob's
I got a canned ham.
And what? Hey, I work alone, okay? So thank you for reminding me of this, Bruce. I appreciate it. The Rizzogram. Also, you can go to my website, steverizzo.com, and go to my YouTube channel there and check out all the videos. And I love the comments we had. Eric, thank you so much for being a great guest. Kellyanne, thank you. Bruce, you did a wonderful job.
Hey, I'm talking here, and nobody's listening. I'll tell you, I get no respect. Even the other day, I told my son to take out the garbage. He said, you married her, you take her out.
I love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Don't forget to subscribe. If you love what you're seeing here and you don't want to miss it, subscribe, share it out to your friends. If you're watching this on the replay, please hit the hashtag replay to let us know.
And download, get your shift together.
See, Kellyanne, I would have forgot all that stuff. I would have forgot all that. I know. I can't help it. I get so caught up, and I'm so overwhelmed that Eric was such a great guest.
Eric.
What did Marion just say? Put Marion back up again. What did she just say?
Oh, Bruce
still with you.
Bruce is still here. Yep, he's still here.
Bruce is here. He's doing all this magic.
Yeah, he's there. He cool. Love you all, guys. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Week.
All right, bud. Bye.